Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I forgot to show you my gizmo. It's about 58 degrees out here, so it isn't warm. But the sun has been going in and out, although it's very cloudy. So I think it's in. This is my lip stain in the color Darling. We'll see how that goes. Of course, it always goes on purple. Now I'm remembering to do my lower lip first. But it doesn't do any good because we don't, we're not supposed to like mush our lips together with this. So whatever. So I will leave this on for a while till it's nice and dry, and then we'll see. I'm not sure that I have done this color before. I got 3 colors and I think I only did 2 of them, and I'm pretty sure this is the one I didn't do. We shall see. That's what it looks like in theory. Anyway, so yesterday I did a few things. I went, I did my lemon juice, finished my lemon juice, so that was good, because I was out. And then I went to visit Aura. We walked the dogs, and then I went to visit Aura. She was having her physical therapy. Not a happy camper at physical therapy, but, for all the yelling and screaming, she still did it. So that's good. And hung out with her for a while, talked. And then I stopped at the grocery store on the way home because of, we needed dog food. I know I shouldn't do this. Christy told me not to do this. And so I went grocery shopping. And and then came home and worked on dinner. Dennis went to his D&D. So that was kind of my day. And then I was sitting there thinking, because I had been talking to you yesterday about boxy and maybe knitting a boxy with minis, and that would be fun, even though I don't really want another boxy. I've knit 6 boxies. I own 2. But I do have a friend who would very happily take a boxy that I needed to knit therapeutically. But I started to think about what was the aspects of a boxy, the reason that boxies worked so well for me. And of course, the reason boxies work so well for me is because they're knit bottom up. Because when you go to start a sweater, and this is the Karina by Isabel Kramer, by the way. The yarn is from Francophine Knits. I don't know if she's still doing, she changed her name to Cardinal. I don't know if she's still doing yarn. But anyway, because you start up here and you have to do short rows in the back, and then you got to decrease, and you got to this, and you got to that. So at the beginning of a top-down sweater, which I like because you can try on as you go, is when you have to do all the calculating and the thinking and the this and the that until you get split for the sleeves, and and then I don't know, is it called split for the sleeves when it's top down? But anyway, and then you just knit. Well, the joys of a boxy when you need something just to go is that it's knit bottom up. So you just do your little ribbing or whatever is at the bottom of a boxy, and it's big, so it's a lot of knit, and it's stockinette, and you just knit, and you don't have to think about it. And that's why knitting a boxy is therapeutic for me. So I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be a boxy. Duh. Let me just go find sweaters that are bottom up. That's all I need, is a sweater that's bottom up. So I went out on Ravelry, as you do, and I was reminded that I have a beautiful sweater, gift pattern from Lisa, thank you, my dear, that is knit bottom up. And I've been sitting here saying I need cardigans, and I've showed you this when she gave it to me. Is this not the answer to a young girl's prayer? Right there. There it is. A cardigan designed for whatever you want to do with your yarns. And it's knit bottom up. And it's very boxy-like. You can see the, the sleeve starts here. That's because it's a big friggin' square. Hold on, let me show you that. Doesn't have a good drawing of it to show you. I mean, it's not square. Maybe it's not square. I'm gonna have to. Here's the thing. I'm gonna have to read it and see if it's actually square. But I will have to read the pattern eventually. And it's got a stitch pattern in there that is a slip stitch. Love a slip stitch, queen of the slip stitch. So, kids, I dropped my other needle. I cast on and knit the first inch of the bottom. This is a 4. So then I'm like, oh, I don't know, because I couldn't find my measuring tape. I didn't know if I started the correct. Oh, and this yarn is Knit Pick Stroll, and I'm knitting it off the rest of my blanket. I decided I'm gonna do the cream color in between the stripes, and so I just grabbed my blanket cream, which is Knit Pick Stroll undyed or beige or natural or whatever the color is. I have lots of it, and that's what I started my. Can't tell, huh? But this is my. So the other problem with this pattern, it wasn't perfect. The other problem with this pattern is it's a DK pattern, and so I'm holding this double, which is easy to do when I've got a ball of it and a, blanket of it. But I don't like holding, but my minis are almost all fingering weight. And I don't really like the idea of holding 2 different minis together to make a DK weight. So, my 2 options seem to be make it fingering weight, which wouldn't be a bad option. And now that I say that out loud, I might give that another little bit of a thought. There's my lips. But the other thing I decided to do, and maybe I'll rethink that and make it just fingering, is I have this. This is Kid Silk Haze. It is 70% mohair and 30% silk. And I have a bunch of this. I had a project in mind that I was going to hold this double, and I can't remember for the life of me what that project was. And I have it in white, which I think will work very well. Now, I don't have any minis in here. Well, that's a lie. This is the bag I used to make my wonderful... do you believe I can't remember the name of that pattern that I did in my Megan? Holy cow, Barbara. My Megan yarns was also a slip stitch pattern. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of that. But anyway, I have I have some minis in here left over from... That's so weird anyway. You know the one I mean. So I do have minis in here that I could start. So the pattern, and not to give away the secret sauce, which I will, is 4 rows of color and 4 rows of the main color and then contrast colors. So it's only 4 rows, although it's big-ish. So I'm hoping 20-ounce mini, 20-ish ounce mini will work for one set of rows. So I can hold this double with the mini and it will mute it and it'll make it nice and warm. Similar to the backbone sweater that I made a few years ago with my Advent yarns. And I doubled that with probably Kid Silk Haze, because I can get this at my local yarn shop. So, but now that I'm sitting here thinking, maybe I'll just make it a fingering weight cardigan, and then it will be a little bit lighter. Oh, now I got to think about that. But if I continue on with the DK, then I will hold it double with the Kid Silk Haze. It'll be nice and warm, and it'll be kind of fun, and it will mute the crazy colors of that the minis can sometimes have. So now I have to decide that, but I had it all worked out because I was worried that, you know, when I finally half-ass measured myself using yarn and a 12-inch ruler, I felt like I didn't give myself quite enough ease on this, because it took me till after I already cast it on and knit practically an inch, a while to find where it says this cardigan is designed to be oversized 4 to 8 inches. And if it's oversized at all, it's 2. Probably has 2 inches of ease, maybe 3. So it's not going to be that oversized, which is okay. But it is supposed to be a little bit boxy. So anyway, I was thinking about it last night, as I do. And I realized that I had only gone down 1 needle size to do the ribbing, because the 1 down needle size was easy and it was right there. So it occurred to me that I could go, and the pattern says to go down 2 sizes. Pretty sure. Yeah, 2 sizes smaller for the ribbing. And I only went down 1 size smaller. So it occurred to me that if I wanted it a little bit bigger, all I needed to do was go up 2 sizes from the ribbing, which would be 1 size from the one I thought I was going to use. I have a 4, and I swatched in a 4, and I got gauge with a 4. But maybe I'm going to go up to a 5, and that will make my sweater slightly bigger. Ta-da! So, but if I'm going to go for fingering only, then I want to stay at the 4. Because otherwise it'll be very loose. Loosey good. I'm gonna go with the DK, and I'm gonna go with the Kid Silk Haze doubled up. I think that'll be nice. You know, so I'm not gonna use the Kid Silk Haze for the main color, the natural color, only on the stripes that are the minis. So that's my current plan. I have another 1/2 inch to go. Well, my original thought was, if it's not quite big enough, I'll just make the button band wider. You know, and that'll give me a little more in the front. So if I did that, I would want to make this wider too. So I was going to go to 2 inches. It calls for 1.5. I mean, 1/2 inch isn't very much. But I think I'll just keep this 1.5, and I'll see where I am when I'm done. But cast on a sweater. Oh, did I tell you? This is called Daft Days Cardigan. Daft, D-A-F-T, Days Cardigan by C-R-E-A-B-E-A Designs. Creabia? Creeby? I don't know. Oh, and apparently they have a podcast. C-R-E-A-B-E-A Knitting Podcast. I am not familiar with them. But Daft Days Cardigan. So it's got a fun, a little bit of a texture, easy, slip stitch, easy. If it weren't easy, I couldn't do it because my brain isn't there. So anyway, I cast on my boxy last night, and it's a Daft Days cardigan because I need another cardigan. I don't have that many. I really only have the one that I wear. I only have one winter cardigan that I wear. I had another cardigan, didn't fit me great. I felted that with the idea I was going to make my dad some slippers. Never made the slippers, and he doesn't need them now. But I may make me slippers out of that sweater. But it never fit me great. It had the coolest buttons, though. It was very cool. I'm gonna look in my button collection, because I buy buttons. Like when I go to Rhinebeck, and they always have a button lady there, and I'm always buying buttons. I'm gonna do something cool with the buttons. I don't know yet what. We'll talk about that later. We have time. The button band is picked up and knit, so I can pick the buttons before I start knitting the button band, so I make an appropriate button band, because if I'm going to put big giant buttons on, I need a bigger button band, or whatever I'm going to do. Anyway, I sat and knit last night. It was nice. It was very nice. And then I started worrying, it's not big enough, you know, as I do to myself. But I'm just going to go up a needle size. I'm going to go 2 needle sizes from when I did the rib. And that'll make it slightly bigger than it would because I got gauged. If I kept the size 4 needle, I'm going to go up to a 5. That's my plan. And I'm going to do the DK holding this double width on the mini stripes. That's my current plan. We'll see how I do. But it was nice. I knit last night. Felt good. So today, I'm gonna knit. I don't know what else I'm gonna do. Oh, we're gonna make spaghetti out of chicken breasts again tonight for dinner. We're gonna have a tomato sauce, a meat sauce, with our carnivore spaghettis, and see how we like them with the Alfredo sauce. So we're gonna try them with red sauce gravy, as my kids' grandmother would say. Red gravy, Italian sauce. And yeah, that's all I have planned. I'm gonna knit, watch some TV, maybe I'll watch some podcasts. That would be new for me. I'm so behind. But that's kind of a downward spiral, because when I'm really low mojo and I'm not knitting, watching knitting podcasts, it doesn't really help me. It makes me a little sad, even though these are my friends on TV. But now that I'm knitting while I'm watching, maybe that will feel different. That would be good. So anyway, so I put the stain on today because you can't mohair and lipstick do not match. In fact, that's why my daughter got me the stain in the first place, because I was knitting something with mohair and I kept getting fiber in my lips. She's a very smart woman, my daughter. And so I can still do my thing. You may be seeing a lot of lip stain in the near future. See how I do with this Daft Days cardigan. Thank you, Lisa, again for the pattern. It was a pattern I wasn't familiar with, but it just, she's pretty good at picking for me, I have to say. I guess you know, she knows me a little bit, even though we've never actually met in person. I am looking forward to going to Ireland and hugging her someday. And a few more of you. Anyway. All right, kids, I'm going to go. I got to go knit. I got knitting to do. I know. Who'd have thunk? I'm so excited. Meanwhile, please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.